Try not to mistake um, materialism for love. I've seen cases where people have been, they're in a group of people, like criminals, who are narcissists. They're cold, they're apathetic, they're unkind, and they want to sway a person to go their way. And the way they do this, all narcissists have a great knowledge of love in a practical, uh, is it practical? In a sense where they know all the tools of love, how to use the tools of love, how to express them, how to bring out tears, sadness, sad stories, and so that they can use the tools of love, like the Stockholm Syndrome, to make a person who's their captive think that they're in with a person who loves them or in love. And the person who's been manipulated can have many gifts thrown at them, such as like when you're dating, it's flowers, or a gift she might give him. In the old days, it would have been cufflinks or a tie pin or something like that. I'm not sure about these days. And gifts are materialistic things, and we like to get a gift. We get well trained for that when we're children and we're growing up in birthday parties. You know, everyone stands there and says, "Oh, it's me! Everyone's giving me gifts," and all that sort of stuff. I just realised I don't think I even remember having a birthday party. It just popped into my head. So when people give you gifts, it can be a genuine thing or it can be as a form of manipulation. I found out when I was younger, certain people would give me gifts, but there was always something tied to the gift. And it started making me, by my late teens, I was becoming very suspicious of anyone who gave me a gift. I just didn't. People say, "Well, would you want this?" And I go, "No, thank you," because there seemed to be something always tied to it, and it put me off. People can be given the best of everything, and they can. The idea is to make them feel very special, to feel appreciated, worthy, loved, needed, and it gives the person being manipulated the idea that they are special and all these things, but they are being loved and that they've been appreciated and that they're needed. But when the need, the reason for them being given all these gifts and materialistic things is gone, they'll be whipped out from under them. They'll take them away. So if you were, they were applying to your vanity, to your ego, to your pride, and they were, and you sit there and you think, well, I'm just driving around one of the latest cars, I don't want to give this up. Or you're sitting there and you're looking and you're in your bedroom and it's beautiful um, wallpaper and expensive wallpaper, expensive carpet, a beautiful house, everything you could ever want. And you're sitting there saying, I don't want to give this up. And your mind talks yourself into going for the ride because the ride is comfortable and it's everything you wanted. What we forget, and this is where we mistake materialism for love, is we we throw love away for the materialism, but we don't think we are throwing love away. I've had people write to me and they've got women with rich husbands or a very happy, wealthy, well, not happy, but a wealthy home, middle class, and they're telling me how unhappy they are and how their husband thinks of money and the materialistic things more than their wife and their children. And they want to have affairs and stuff because it just frustrates them. So It's very hard dealing with people in such therapy when you know that there's an extremely high chance the reason why they got in that relationship was the person they married's title, wealth, the materialistic gain they would have going from whatever life they lived before into this package deal. So they took it instead of following their heart. So when you're following your heart, you're within you. You satisfy the soul. You satisfy your spirit. You satisfy your inner self, and you could be in a cabin in the wilderness with the person you love within, and be absolutely happy. No electricity, no cell phones, and all that. No running water. You have to go down to the river to get water and things like that. But you're the happiest person on the planet. You couldn't be happier because you took that person for love, and you can see, can tell, can feel, and want to experience the difference between materialistic gain and loving gain. Um, it's kind of like when you're a child, a young, like 6 or 7 years old, and you say, I'm going to grow up, I'm going to marry the person I love, and together we're going to do this and that. We're going to have such a good time. It's going to be such a beautiful life for the pair of us. And it doesn't happen because we're taught, we become apathetic, and we are taught that materialistic gain to keep commerce running, buying and selling, taxes, is the happy life, and it's not. But we're taught that it is the happy life. We're taught that it is the wonderful life. And therefore, when we're sitting in our riches, or in our very comfortable, beautiful situation, it's not real happiness because the lonely days start happening. So the real desire for all of us should be to satisfy the person within, because you can't have any form of happiness if the person within isn't satisfied. And our desires are not being met. So it's a lovely thing to. Oh, I used to say that about sex. If you have sex with someone and you just get the itch scratched, you're not sitting there with the person you love. You don't look at them and think, no, it doesn't work. Happiness is a happy, content heart in a life with the person that you love, that you're compatible with, that you actually want to be around, that you feel comfortable with, that has a mind of like mind, and experiencing life together, because you know that with that person the experience is going to be joyful. And joyful means you wake up with a smile every morning, you go to bed every night with a smile. There are arguments, disagreements, but because of the love and the respect for each other, they never go to any extremes that are unhappy. And you always feel heard, you always feel wanted, you always feel that what you have to say is needed. And even if it's not right and it's not needed, you'll be given the chance always to say it, because it's important that everyone in a good, loving home gets to say. When your partner looks at you and feels no desire to overshadow you, no desire to beat you down, no desire to win over you, no desire to use you for sexual pleasure, no desire to use you to boost their ego and their pride and their arrogance, You're getting the person who's. It's kind of like I got this new belief in the last 15 years is the door is always open for them to leave, but they won't leave because they're happy where they are, and it would never come up. The conversation would never come up because you are everything they ever wanted, and they are everything you ever wanted, and the environment with which you live in, and the things that you have, and the people you know, and the life that you live has no bearing on your love. Your love is the strongest form of connection, companionship, and the beauty of your life, and it is stronger than anything. And I was just thinking, both of you are one, and you know how you have your boundaries. Well, you're both kept together within certain boundaries, and those are the beliefs and the standards and the values that you both have. So the perfect companion for you is not a fridge or a expensive home or a really nice car or some guy or woman who's attracted to everyone else or sex or a loose living life. You were born as a human being to mate in heart and soul and spirit with another human being, and physically with another human being, and everything materialistic in the world might seem like everything for a while, but then there's lonely nights, and there's a very good song comes to mind just now. The Eagles song "Lying Eyes." You can't hide your lying eyes. I thought by now you'd realize. And she's married a rich man. She's got money. She's got everything she needs, but she sneaks off to the poor side of town to sleep with a young guy who she lies to pretend that one day they're going to get together, but she's just using him for sex. And she doesn't really want to give up the wealth she's got and have the young man, so she's trying to balance two evils. She's trying to balance two lives, the one with the young man and the one with the husband, and keep them both. And I've met people that do that. I knew a woman here, a teacher here in Tokoroa. A friend of mine was wanting to date her, and we found out, and absolutely shocked, she was going all the way to Hastings, quite a way away, um, every weekend to sleep with a guy who was like, she was in her 30s or 40s, and she was sleeping with a guy who was 17, 18. And she'd stay at he had a flat, I think, or she had a place to stay there, and they'd stay there. And then she'd come back, and while she was down there, she'd give him heaps of promises, and she was just using them. So it does happen when you make the mistake of um, going or marrying someone to suit everyone else's wishes, to suit our materialistic, not needs, but desires. And to believe that all that fake and stuff that could perish in a day, the person you marry could lose their job in a week. Um, Basically, it's just marrying for the wrong reason and not having the right thing. So don't mistake if you're in an environment where people are showering you with gifts and what seems like blessings, and they've got a obviously unlimited money supply, and they're giving you things, and they're making you experience new, flash, clean, pretty, glossy, um, stuff like that, materialistic gain, and you think, wow, I'm so special. God is blessing me with this, when in reality, manipulators are blessing you with this, or someone's blessing you with this, not blessing you with this, but giving you this to try and sleep with you, or to try and get you to marry them so they can use and abuse you for the rest of your life, or manipulators are doing it to try and control your life so that you'll do what they want you to do. You won't believe what people will do for power and for ego, and how much money they'll spend, and how much effort they'll put together to do it. The human race, when the people's minds turn to evil, it just amazes me to what they'll do to stay powerful, to control people. All you need to know is that people do it. And if you're in a situation where everything seems rosy, but it just doesn't, something doesn't feel right, your heart feels empty, just keep an open mind that you might be there because of your weaknesses, to accept what's not right for your heart, your soul, and your life. See, if people offer you gifts and stuff, they're not the guilty ones. You're the one taking them. It's like they say about Satan. Satan's not guilty for you being tempted, taking the temptation up. Satan may put the temptation in front of you and say, look, all this materialistic stuff, look, this pretty woman or this handsome man, they're the one to take. It's up to us to discern, be mature about it, logical, think out the situation and say, hey, what's really going on here? What's really happening here? And then make the right choice to either get out of that situation pronto fast, or follow our heart. That's why I say follow your heart, because happiness is where your heart is, not materialism. And we have to have the courage to follow our heart. And as I say, the only happy people on the planet are courageous people. And they can still be scared and frightened when they do the courageous things, but it's the courageous thing that they have to do. And after you've done it, you love yourself for being brave, for fighting the good fight, for standing up against the odds, for taking on evil, for taking on bad people, and for doing the right thing for other people and for yourself. Don't ever, don't ever limit your life or destroy your happiness for these other people. You have a right to look after yourself and to look after your own life. Don't ever feel guilty for doing the right thing for you. If you need to do the right thing for you, other people are going to get hurt, that's their business. You have to do the right thing. As long as you're not deliberately doing evil or doing anything bad or deliberately trotting on people, you're making a choice that other people are not going to be happy about. That's their problem. You make the choice that you think is right. You go for what you think is the right thing to do, and they're just going to have to live with it. They either come on board in the future or they go away. People come and go all the time. It's not that important. But it's when you find the really precious ones, no materialism in the world, no money. You don't have a price on your love. It's like with this character assassination thing I've been going through. I made it clear in the very beginning of the character, so they're going and telling stuff about me, and I know something about this criminal group. And I said, no amount of money on the earth will ever break me, because I am not. There's no price on anything for me. I don't. I'm not buyable. You cannot. A friend once said to me years ago. He said, if someone offered you $1 million, you'd sell your oldest daughter, and she was like about 9 at the time, and I said, no way. I didn't mean sell for sex. I mean someone would just buy your daughter. And I said, no, of course not. You don't have a price on your love for your children. There's no price. You fight tooth and nail for the best thing for them, and you do the bravest thing, you do the courageous thing. These are your children, and you have no price on it, and you should have no price on your heart and on your life. So people say, "I will give you this if you will follow me." It's like the fact that they're offering you something is manipulation, and it's not in your favor. The next thing is to turn around and say, well, what if I do go away from that? What's my gain? And what are they trying to stop me having? So don't have a price over anything. Don't let anyone buy you. Don't don't let people buy your faith, your truth, your honesty, your life, your children's lives. All these things are so heartfully important to your own self respect, your own self love, your own desire to be a good person. So there's no price on anything that is loving and your truth. Be you and be true to yourself.